What's up, Giants fans, Hub watchers, YouTube subscribers, Twitter and Instagram followers? It's your boy Noname back at it again with another Giants mock draft video. Mock draft number 2, this time with a trade involved, and as you guys know, this time with us taking Isaiah Simmons. Now then, before I get started into my little intro, the timestamp will always be posted down in the comments, and the timestamp for when the mock draft actually begins will be up right now. So I don't really want to hear any complaints in the comment section about me talking too long. You guys have the timestamps to skip this if you want to, although I will say it's always better to listen to the intro. Now then, on with the intro. You guys didn't really vote on which draft to do, because I put up a little poll on my last video where the choices were, do you want me to mock a Miami trade or a Los Angeles Chargers trade? Nobody really voted, at least up until when I checked like 2 days ago for when I did the mock draft, when I put it together and whatnot. Now I'm actually recording it. So I just went ahead and went with the Miami trade because I thought it'd be fun to kind of mock 2 first-round picks, because that's what I think we would get. So that's exactly what I think would happen. In this mock draft, the Giants trade down from pick number 4 to pick number 5 to Miami, and they get the 5th overall pick in return along with the 26th overall pick. And Miami, of course, gets the 4th overall pick in return. And from there on out, that's about it. Like, Miami trade mock. One thing I started to notice as I got, a little bit more into the mid rounds and then obviously towards the 7 rounds and whatnot, I started noticing that I approach the mock draft the same way as I did if we didn't trade down, which is, I'm tackling certain positions at certain spots. And because of that, I do have overlapping picks, and for those overlapping picks, I won't really give a deep analysis. I'll just read off the quick points, maybe give a little thought or two, show you guys the highlights, and that's it, because you guys would have already seen the deep analysis for any repeat players, and I would just say go and check out the video that has it. It just saves me time, it saves you guys time. You could go back and forth and see what it is, but I did try to make it different in terms of players I would take, because we are at different spots with it. I hope you guys enjoy it, and once again, as you did in the first mock draft video, please leave a like, please share, please subscribe, leave your comments and thoughts down below. Constructive criticism is welcome. Now let's get into it. Now, with the 5th overall pick in the NFL draft, the New York Giants select Isaiah Simmons, linebacker out of Clemson. Is there anything I even need to say here? Simmons is probably, in the running for best defensive player in this draft. I mean, it's really up between him and Chase Young. For me, he's the second best, but he's definitely very, very close. It's kind of like a 1A, 1B situation, and Simmons is most definitely the most versatile player in this draft, man. Great tackling, coverage, he has great block shedding ability, he's very fast as shown by his combine, very high football IQ, he sniffs out the football like a bloodhound. I mean, there's nothing really, no holes to poke in his game at this time. I mean, really, like, there is not much negative things to say. And Simmons, for the Giants, I'm starting to, my opinion is starting to shift. If we had to choose between Simmons and Chase Young, I would take Simmons, because the middle linebacker position in general, and that's where I think he would play most of his snaps. I do believe if the Giants take him, I would hope that they use him in a similar way that Clemson and his college coaches used him, and that is they didn't confine him to one position. Because of how good he was, they allowed him to play linebacker, that both inside and outside. They allowed him to play safety to cover tight ends, even sometimes some wide receivers. They allowed him to be all over the field because that's what his skill set pertains. And if the Giants use him like that, we'll be in business. But if they don't, we might be in a little bit of trouble. But I think he's going to spend most of his snaps at middle linebacker, in most, not all, and that will be perfectly fine, because when it comes to a middle linebacker versus a pass rusher position, middle linebacker is definitely a lot more important, and it's something the Giants haven't had for an even longer time, that we haven't had a pass rusher. With a pass rusher, the thing is, you can't just have one good pass rusher and then, it fixed the entire attack of your defense. It doesn't, because any offense can just double team him. He could have an off day and that's it. Your pass rush for the day is gone. But with a middle linebacker, that's the leader and the centerpiece of your defense. It's often called the quarterback of the defense, because it's where everything comes from. It's where everything is built around. It really is the middle linebacker. So if we get Simmons, we get somebody in there to get to that position, will be in, quite frankly, the defense will be much improved just by having a better middle linebacker there. And you can't really turn this guy off for one game because of, how all over the place he is and how good he is at what he does. He could blitz you. He could go drop back in coverage. He could really... first of all, we don't even have any more tight end problems with the Giants. I know you guys noticed for the past 2-3 years, tight ends kept smoking us. Not anymore if we have him. He could even cover some receivers, like I said before, definitely some slot receivers. He could go out on the outside and help out the pass rush a little bit, during blitz packages and whatnot. There's so many things you could do if you get an Isaiah Simmons that honestly, there's not really a reason to not take him if he drops to us at even 4 overall. But you guys know me, I would prefer an offensive tackle just because for the development of Daniel Jones and Saquon Barkley. But Isaiah Simmons here, the Giants defense already takes a nice step ahead. Next up, round 1, pick 26, the Giants take Austin Jackson, offensive tackle out of USC. Giants get their offensive tackle here. If one of the top 4 guys drop here, I would definitely take them, but I have a feeling they're all going to be gone before pick 15. Quick points for y'all: 6'5", 322, durable, started all games when at left tackle, has the physical traits to become a franchise left tackle: length, speed, and hitter strength. He faced adversity off the field. Now, as I work my way back up, the adversity I'm talking about off the field is that he donated his bone marrow to his sister, who is facing some sort of cancerous or life-threatening, condition. He basically saved her life, and that is not something everybody does. That is something that I don't know how in the world it impacts you mentally or physically, but I'm sure it would be a little bit more on the greater side of the impact. And he recovered in time because he did it in summer 2019. He did it, and he recovered in time to get back for his, new season with the Trojans. And just want to say, even if we don't take him, props to and Austin Jackson. I'm glad his sister survived. I'm glad everything went well, and that is just something that a great human being does. And why does it play into this? Well, the Giants are looking for people like that right now. He definitely fits the personality build for the Giants, but does he fit what we need at everything else? Like I said, he's very raw, and I mentioned he has the physical abilities to be a left tackle. What I mean by that is that he has the athletic frame, and he has the athletic, the athletic ability to match it. I'm talking about the speed a little bit. I'm talking about the quickness, side-to-side range. He could get down a little bit low. Very nice feet, nice flexible hips. It's all there. The hidden strength I talk about is because he doesn't look that strong, but he gets you. Like when he's up against bigger defensive players, he shows it a little bit when he can push them back and even pancake them at some point. But all that is really, really good for a left tackle. Where he struggles is the kind of like the fundamental traits, right? He definitely has to work on hand placement. He's a little bit inconsistent there. While the movement of his feet in terms of speed and quickness is nice, the placement of them, just like hand placement, definitely needs a little bit of work. His awareness is not, the best. It's really good, all right? I want to state that his awareness is perfectly fine if he comes in and he starts for us at right tackle. But for left tackle, he definitely needs to improve on it, which is why if I draft him, it would be solely for the right tackle position. The reason I mentioned before, if any of the top 4 dropped here, I would definitely take them, is because these guys are my future left tackle. They would start 1 year at right tackle, and then Solar's off the books. They would then walk into that left tackle position. But with Austin Jackson, for me, he's coming in, he's starting at right tackle. I know for a fact he's going to be an amazing right tackle for our next 10 years, and he's staying there because I don't really think he would be as good at a left tackle position that he would be at right tackle. Austin Jackson is like the perfect, and really anybody after the top 4. Draft them and stick them in at right tackle, and you got a franchise. You got one of the best right tackles in the league for the next 10 to 15 years. Next up, in round 2, pick 4, we get the same guy I did in my last draft, Zach Bond, edge rusher out of Wisconsin, 6'3", 240 pounds, explosive speed and ability off the edge, great flexibility. Nice side-to-side range, and he's good in run support. He knows how to study the offense as he was once a QB. Like I said in the intro video, because Zach Bond is sort of a repeat pick from my last draft, if you guys want a deeper, analysis that what I'm about to give, go over to my other draft video. But I'm still going to give you guys something. Zach Bond in the second round at this pick will be the best edge rusher available. And like most guys out of Wisconsin, Wisconsin is kind of becoming a little bit of a linebacker school right now. He's extremely smart, has high football IQ. If he's paired up with his former teammate, and if this pick comes through, his future teammate in Ryan Connolly, we're going to be in business. Zach Bond, if you can just look at the tape, he really sniffs out what's happening behind the line of scrimmage before it seems to even happen. This is because of his former experience at quarterback. He knows how they study, so he knows how to study them. His mental processing power is simply just too good. It's really quick. When the snap goes off, you could already see him setting his angle to go into tackle who has the football, and it's quite amazing. You see him setting the angle to maybe try and intercept where the football is going. Once again, pretty amazing. He has great lateral mobility. Like I said, that side-to-side quickness is very, very fluid, very noticeable on the field. Absolutely great hand technique. You're almost never going to see any type of flag on this guy. His pass rushing ability, which is going to be the main reason I would draft him, is also, once again, really amazing. He has a nice chop. He has a nice hand movement, hand placement with the pass rush. He can get past, offensive tackles with both his strength, which is surprising for his size, and his quickness and the hand chops. And he's versatile. This guy can play outside linebacker, middle linebacker, and sometimes he's even caught dropping back in coverage where he can make plays in pass defenses and whatnot, which is really good for what the Giants are doing. But his football IQ is simply amazing. Another thing that's really good for what the Giants are doing. Definitely check out his tape. I'm pretty sure the stuff I said in the other mock draft video that I didn't mention here, check that out also. But Zach Bond is not somebody that I would change drafting in our round 2. I think he's the perfect pick for the Giants, the perfect edge rusher fit for the Giants.
Anytime you hear silence, it's just for y'all to watch tape.
Next up in round 3, pick 36 in that round, the New York Giants select Matt Hennessy, center out of Temple, 6'4", 307 pounds, nicely technically refined and polished, great body positioning. He works from the bottom to up, extremely tough, earned a single-digit jersey at Temple, which means that he was viewed as one of the most tough players on the team. And at Temple, what they do is with the practice jerseys, if you have a single-digit practice jersey, you're recognized, throughout the organization as one of the toughest players, and he earned that. It's not easy to get that at the university. Now, before I actually get into explaining these quick points, I just want to say center is a position right now that's kind of being undervalued amongst Giants fans, at least from what I've seen online, right? Center is quite honestly on the same level of importance as getting a new right tackle this offseason. We need a new right tackle and we need a new center. You guys know my opinion on John Halapio. I don't think he's going to cut it. I think he's going to be gone. I don't see him making the 53-man roster or whatever man roster is going to be with the new CBA. And we need a new center to get into the middle there and, basically solidify the inner workings of our offensive line. Center is not, always considered the most important role on the offensive line, but it should be, it should be up there right next to left tackle as one of the most important roles on that line, because that's the guy that's snapping the ball to your QB. That's the guy that's opening most of the run holes. That's the guy that at sometimes, forms plays. They communicate well with the quarterback to even edit plays and whatnot to Matt Hennessy. Now, he works bottom to top. What I mean by that is that he gets really nice and low, as all offensive linemen should. And when he makes his punches, he makes his hand placements, they're lower than the opposing, player. They're lower than the rushing player's hands than where they're going. And basically, if you could get your hands lower than them and you could get it lower on their body, you could push up and then down, right? So you push up, push back and then down, and then you kind of win the position battle. That's really one of the most important things about football and about, the war at the line of scrimmage. You got to get lower than your opponent, and you have to place your hands in a better position than them. And Matt Hennessy is kind of a god at that, to be honest with you guys. And it's helped out by the fact that he's extremely powerful. He has a good amount of strength in him. He's very compact. He's very strong, a nice upper body strength, nice even lower body strength. It's not overwhelming to say anything, but it's definitely good enough. I believe he'll have I believe he'll win most of his matchups in the NFL, to be honest with you guys. Maybe with the more, elite upper echelon defensive tackles or linebackers that may be coming, blitzing into that center position, he could probably lose those, maybe even have a stalemate. But I'm very confident in both his balance, his strength, and how low he gets, that he'll win most of those matchups. And that's another thing I forgot to mention. His balance is among the best of inside offensive linemen in this class. You won't see him tripping over anything. You won't see him being a little, doorstop on the way to the quarterback or anything. he'll stand his ground. He's kind of like a nice little barrier in there. He's very sharp, football IQ very high. As you know, I'm sure you guys are noticing a pattern now. The kind of guys I'm tackling matches what Joe Judge and the new Giants staff are looking for. High IQ, sometimes versatile guys with good character. Hennessy matches the high IQ. Not so much sure about versatile. Maybe he could play a little bit of guard, but I think he's definitely just a pure center guy, and he's definitely has good character. But getting back to the IQ, very polished. Fundamentals are off the chart. You'll never see a flag from him because his hands, when he's not using them to place lethal punches on the opponent and basically get his hands there to push them over, his hands are very quiet. They really kind of just stay up and in position waiting for somebody to come at him, which is really good because we won't have any crazy holding calls. I know we haven't had them last year that much, but the year before, all Giants fans know that the holding calls on the offensive line were really sort of a killer to both the momentum of the offense and really just to the game itself. And with Hennessy, you don't have to worry about that, man. He knows what he's doing and he knows how to do it well. And while he may not be the most athletic guy, he is athletic in the sense that his hip flexibility and hip movement is really, really good. His body control when he's in the game and when he's in the trenches, his lateral mobility moving side to side are very good. They're definitely about functional. I don't want to say they're great, but they're very good, and it's going to be a great matchup with the Giants here, playing between a Will Hernandez and a Kevin Zeitler. So we put it together. We got some guy with nice athleticism, great football IQ, nice power, gets down very low. His hand technique is godly, and his competitive toughness that we've seen from him getting that single-digit jersey in Temple. We're getting a starting center that could be the starting center for years to come. Next up in round 4, pick 4, the Giants select Jeremy Chin, safety out of Southern Illinois. Now Chin, for those of you that don't know, once again, this is another repeat player just like Zach Bond. For a deeper analysis, once again, go check out the other mock draft video. But Jeremy Chin, since my last mock, has risen up draft boards, which is why I'm taking him here in round 4 instead of round 5. I don't think he might be available in round 5 anymore. Whatever the case is, 6'3", 219, consistent, at least 3 interceptions and 5 pass deflections a year. Always tracks the QB's eyes, always attacking the ball. A good run defender and has great closing speed. Chin, the reason I fell in love with him in the last mock draft and the reason I am still in love with him now is because of how under the radar he still is. Once again, this guy, his size and ability, he could keep it up with the best of the best in the NFL. There's definitely his negatives, which is why he's going in the 4th round. But there's a lot more positives here than the negatives, in my opinion. His size alone, lays into kind of a built-in versatility where he could even be like a linebacker, similar to Jabril Peppers, who in Michigan was used as more a linebacker than safety. He kind of transitioned from linebacker to safety. Jeremy Chin over here, while he's a safety in college, I wouldn't be surprised if the Giants bring him in even as a linebacker. That may be a stretch, but definitely bring him in as a free safety, and you can use him in some, extra linebacker packages because he has the size for it. He covers his running backs well. He covers his tight ends well. He could even cover, maybe, his wide receivers well, depending on how the Giants use him. He has a built-in versatility to him. And I say maybe on receivers because his speed is more so on the closing speed. It's catching up with them rather than keeping up with them, if that makes any sense. I'm sure the tape I put up will show that a little bit more. But if he's already on pace with them, he's probably going to win that matchup. He usually wins the size matchup because of how big he is. 50-50 balls go Jeremy Chin's way. He's either deflecting it or he's intercepting it. He's at his best when he's actively engaged, which is now kind of leads into the negatives a little bit. When he's on the field, he's tracking the QB's eyes and he's attacking the ball. You're going to get the best version of Jeremy Chin. When he's not doing that, he's kind of lazy a little bit. I don't want to say lazy, but more so he needs to develop his football instincts more because, he gets burned a little bit when he's not actively engaged. When his eyes are not completely on the quarterback, sometimes, he's just not in the play, and you can notice that. And I really don't want to say lazy because his play on the field doesn't show lazy. His practice off the field doesn't show lazy. But if he's not actually, looking at this QB's eyes, he can definitely get beat, and that's something he needs to improve on. That really goes more towards, instincts on the field more than anything. So there you go, a negative right there. Chin needs to learn to be actively engaged on every single play. I think that is something we could improve. He also needs to improve his speed in general. Like I said, the closing speed is quite honestly good enough, but if he wants to, be one of those top safeties in the NFL, you need to have pace speed also. But I like Jeremy Chin a lot, guys. Definitely check out the tape on him and even the other video where I have a little bit more on him. Next up in round 5 with pick 4 is Isaiah Hodgins, wide receiver out of Oregon State, 6'4", 210 pounds. Big frame wide receiver. He handles his body and his arms well while in the air, has a very nice and large catch radius. He attacks the ball high, and when he attacks the ball and he gets his hand on it, he gets a vice grip on it, which means he's really good for 50-50 balls. Now obviously he is a big body wide receiver, 6'4", 210. I'm not sure if he's going to be the tallest when he steps on the field like a Benjamin Victor in the last draft, but he's definitely going to be one of the biggest. He's going to be up there in size, and already we're going to have something that we haven't had in a while. I definitely think he's going to be a nice red zone threat to have on the team. Like I said, that 50-50 ability, man. Let me talk a little bit about this real quick. The concentration when he gets these balls and when he's going after them is really, really strong. He always keeps his eye on the ball, and he's great for, catches in traffic, passes in traffic, because he always has his eye on the ball, and because of his catch release and, the length of his wingspan and whatnot, he will get a lot of balls gone his way. This also relates to him keeping his eye on the ball when he's, going upfield and vertical receiving. He's very comfortable when he's being used as a deep receiver threat. He's not always used as that because his speed, he doesn't have like a he's not like a super fast athlete. He's not a burner. He's more of a slow burner type of guy. He has the good enough speed. He's kind of average in that aspect. But when he gets upfield, when he gets, all the way towards the end zone, you're going to get a ball down to him, and he's going to adjust his pacing correctly. He's going to make sure that he lays out for the ball if need to. But whatever the case is, he's going to catch that ball like 90% of the time deep downfield. His football IQ is very nice, improved, and saw progression throughout each of the 3 years that he was at Oregon. Very good. He knows what he's doing. It shows that he practices it. It could improve a bit with wide receivers in general, not to downplay the position or anything, but in terms of football IQ, there's not much to do here. Like, you just got to know your routes. You got to know what the defender is doing to you, and you got to beat that. He does this at a good pace. He could improve there, definitely a room for improvement. Another room for improvement would be his speed, but more so his run after the catch ability. When he gets the ball, he definitely needs to learn how to use the strength that he has, and he does have a little strength in him. He does have a little power in him. He needs to learn how to use it in order to, run over defenders a little bit, or get past them a little bit. Because once he gets the balls, and he's in traffic, let's say, he will get it, and it's a safe catch. He's not going to let go of it. He's not going to fumble it. But you could definitely tackle him down, right? So he'll be running. He wouldn't really know how to evade them because of his little lack of speed. And because he needs to improve a bit in balance, it would be easy to trip him up and tackle him. So that's definitely something I would like to see improved. It's not, it's not a necessity. To be honest with you, the more and more you think about it, we have a lot of receivers in the wide receiver core right now that have that down to a T. So it's not a necessity. We could take this guy and we could just use him as a deep threat, as a big frame threat, as a red zone threat. And in those situations, you don't necessarily need a run after the catch ability. You just need. I almost forgot to mention, he does have good blocking ability, which goes back to his size, his strength, his power. You could definitely put him in there and, a tight end package maybe even. And he could definitely help block for Saquon. He could help block for, maybe even another passing route, whatever the case is. He's very effective in blocking. And because of his strength and his wingspan, it's so solid that it actually does provide an extra bit of protection when he's in there. Overall, Isaiah Hodgins is a really good pick to have in the wide receiver core because his hands, absolute vice grip. He's not letting go of it. Contested catch ability as a 50-50 type of wide receiver. He's going to come down and win those matchups. Football IQ, steady progression, definitely could be improved, but there's nothing wrong with having a steady progression. And I think when it comes to the NFL, it's just going to continue. He's just going to continue to improve his local receiving skills to a T. He has it down nice and tough. Good blocking ability, but he does have improvements to make. Now, next up, in the 6th round, with pick 4 in the 6th round, the New York Giants select Nick Coe, defensive end / defensive tackle out of Auburn, 6'5", 280 pounds, versatile, has experience at defensive tackle, defensive end, and even linebacker. Comfortable dropping into zone and covering running backs. He's very powerful, has amazing upper body strength. Now listen, before you guys get up in arms about taking a defensive tackle, There's a reason I say defensive end / defensive tackle. And at this point in the draft, I wouldn't be surprised, nor would I be, even a little bit annoyed if the Dave Gettleman and the Giants go defensive tackle, because I feel like we might let go of some of them in the offseason. Either Leonard Williams is going to be gone, or somebody like RJ McIntosh or Chris Slayton. If Chris Slayton isn't already gone, might be gone. I feel like we're going to let go of some defensive tackles on our team, and it's never bad to have too much, and that's something that I know is going to be 50-50 with you guys. But he's also a defensive end, and we don't know exactly what the thing is going to be on defense, what the scheme is going to be on defense, because there might not be a particular scheme. Just like the offense, like Joe just said, Patrick Graham said when asked the question, oh, what scheme are you guys going to be running, he's like, everything. So we might as well have a nice big guy who's used to playing a 4-3 defensive end on the team, and that's what Nick Coe is. Now, a note on his upper body strength and, I guess strength in general that I mentioned is that it's good for him, staying where he is, right? So, like, when the offensive lineman goes up against him and they crash into him, they don't really make an impact. And that's what his strength is good for. It's good for taking those impacts, not necessarily pushing back against them when he's in a defensive end role. When he's in a linebacker or defensive tackle role is when it comes into play, right? And I guess that goes to his versatility. At 280 pounds, this guy is actually a good outside linebacker, as crazy as that sounds. But let's not kid ourselves there. If we take him, it is going to be for that defensive end, defensive tackle role. And he's still good there, you know what I'm saying? He has good frame, he has a good thickness, and he has good mass on him. He has a lot of good extension skills with his hand technique and his length. And he has great effective punches to pair with those heavy hands, you know what I'm saying? Provides a nice quick disengage to avoid those flags, avoid any roughing the passer or unsportsmanlike conduct on him. And the toughness that he plays with to go in sync with that is pretty amazing, because almost every play that he does, he ends it on the ground and he's looking to go and move on to the next guy. And because of his experience, playing standing up at defensive end, playing at a linebacker even, I think he worked out at the combine under the moniker of a linebacker and then playing defensive tackle. That's already a lot of versatility in one player that we could be looking for, But he's very raw when it comes to the versatility. His gap penetration skills, while average, definitely need improvement. This goes towards the more defensive tackle and linebacker standpoint. He's good when he has the first step quickness over the offensive lineman that he's playing against, but it's easily avoidable if you're on the offense. He needs to improve that. He has the raw ability there. He also has the raw ability with tackling. Like I said, he dropped back a few times at Auburn, surprisingly, to cover like running backs and whatnot, and he gets there, 50-50, maybe a little bit more. It's kind of inconsistent, but you see the potential there. You definitely see the potential to have a lot of production there. He has the functional strength, he has the grip strength, he definitely has the wingspan, and he's definitely could be a problem when used up front. Other than those negatives, he's actually a really good prospect. He has the hand technique, he has the hand length. You got the competitive toughness, you got the gap penetration, you got the tackling flexibility. He's more athletic than he seems. Once again, that goes back to his versatility. Has the pass rush counters, man. To the 7 rounds, I'm going to try and keep it a little bit more short. Vid's already 30 minutes long. Let's get on with it. In round 7, pick 4, the Giants select Harrison Bryant, tight end out of Florida Atlantic University. 6'5", 242 pounds. He moves like a wide receiver. He has great success on seams and over routes. He's good at contested balls and taking bumps. He actually won the John Mackey Award, which is awarded to what college football thinks is was the best tight end that year. And he was the very first team All-American for Florida Atlantic. Now, if he has those 2 awards, you might be asking, why is he going in the 7th? Well, John Mackey Award, while awarded to who they think is the best tight end in the league, isn't necessarily the best tight end in the league, but it does show that this guy has a lot of potential going for him. I'm going to toss up some film for you on him, let you watch it a little bit. He doesn't have a large catch radius, but with his catch radius, if you get the ball in there, his hands will get it, and he has safe hands. He'll catch the ball, he won't let go of it. Because of his size, he has a nice contested catch ability. Has great balance when taking bumps, catching in traffic, going through tackles, and that goes to his run after the catch ability, which he does have a good run after catch ability. He doesn't run too fast. He's kind of a short strider. he tops out fairly quickly, and he's not going to be the quickest tight end or the quickest receiver on the field, but is good enough because of his ability to take bumps to get where he needs to go, and he has a nice power and flexibility to him. Check out Hunter Bryant. That's another tight end. I meant to say check out Harrison Bryant. Definitely somebody for the Giants to look at, to bring into their tight end room. Who knows what's going to happen there. Next up, in round 7, pick 24, Michael Warren, the second running back out of Cincinnati. Yes, the same Michael Warren from my other draft. 5'11", 222 pounds, was a workhorse back at Cincinnati that could definitely take the hits, knows how to run through tackles, has amazing balance, great at yards after the catch, and is a good pass blocker. Very similar to a Harrison Bryant here, but Michael Warren is really the type of backup running back we're going to be looking for. A change of pace type of back, a third down back, somebody that knows how to run through tackles, somebody that could take those hits and take them off of Saquon. This is what Michael Warren is, and he was very successful at Cincinnati in doing so. That's just his run style. He's a tough runner, and he does have a bit of receiving ability to him. But if we take him, I think we're going to use him more so just to be on the ground, be a bull rusher more than anything. And I love Michael Warren. I don't know if he's going to be available in the 7th, if I'm going to be completely honest with you guys. But I don't see running backs in general going that high. So there's the possibility he drops here. Who knows? Moving on to round 7, pick 33. I have the Giants taking Lamar Jackson, cornerback out of Nebraska, not the quarterback. Now, I take a cornerback here because at this point I'm just building depth. Like, the Giants have a crazy amount of picks this year, 4 of them in the 7th round. We might not use all 4 of these 7th round picks. We may be only going to use like 1 or 2. We'll probably use the other 3 as like trade, assets and whatnot. But if we do, I'll just build depth on the cornerback secondary side of things, because why not? He's 6'2", 208 pounds, good mix of size and length. Put up 5 interceptions over the past 2 years. He has good hips, good eyes in man and press coverage. And fun fact, I think his best game was against Ohio State last year against Dwayne Haskins. He kind of made Ohio State, gave them a run for their money as Nebraska. They either came close to a win or just won the game, but he shows potential. Next up, round 7, pick 41. Like I said, I'm just going to kind of blow through these as the video is really long now. I don't know who to pick. Just build some depth, bro. Like, I honestly don't know who to mock here. At this point, I kind of went through, on my sheet of paper, I went through positions that I wanted to tackle, and I already tackled all of them. I even double dipped at some of them, and maybe you could do that here. You could double it at tackle, center, linebacker. You could get another guard, get a cornerback, maybe a fullback. I don't know. Just build depth at this point. You know what I'm saying? This is like I said, I don't think I'm gonna use it, but I tackled all the positions I wanted to, and honestly, just build depth with this position right here. But that's what I got for y'all on the second mock draft video. Let me know what you guys think. Leave your comments down below. Would you tackle the positions differently? Would you tackle different positions? Did you like the players I mocked? Did you not like the players I mocked? I try to be a little bit more realistic with this one. I try to show a little bit more of their faults. Because while I love my last mock draft video, watching it back, I definitely think I was a little too, a little too hype, a little too positive on them. And I tried to be a little more realistic here by showing their faults a little more. Put your constructive criticism, your thoughts, your support, whatever it is down below. I'm out. Alright guys, thanks for watching. Put your comments down below. Make sure you smash that like button, subscribe, and turn on post notifications. Until next time, I'm out. Yeah.